Let's talk about nudging change. So, oftentimes when we think about change, you might think of some big, overwhelming, sort of grand scale change. And it's actually most effective to think of change in smaller bits. So, when we think about, a change initiative, we want to look at actually how we can nudge the progress along slowly as opposed to expecting people to change overnight. Something we often lose sight of in change initiatives is the people side of change. So we want to make sure that we're never solely focusing on the project or deadlines or certain things that have to be done logistically, but that we're taking the time to connect with the individual members of our team and find out what's going on for them. So where are they at with the change? What do they need from you, or in terms of information, support, or perhaps incentives to actually hop on board with the change? We'll take a look at a handful of different strategies that you can use to nudge change along. The first strategy is simplifying procedures. So, when we talk about simplifying procedures, it's just that it's making things as easy as possible. If you expect people to do things a new way, please don't make it difficult for them. Don't give them a ton of more work or new forms to fill out or a bunch of red tape to be completing unless that's an absolute necessity. The easier you can make the change, the more likely people will be to adopt it. A second strategy you can use is to set up automated or even in-person alerts, reminders, or disclosures. So, without being pesky, an alert can simply be something that pops up and reminds somebody of an upcoming deadline. Disclosures might look like, naming people at a team meeting as to how many people have already completed or got their work in by the deadline provided. It's not about calling people out or making people feel bad, but it's about creating a subtle social pressure to actually comply and do what the majority of the other team members have already done. A third strategy is solicited pre commitment. What you can do as a leader to actually get people on board before rolling out a change comes in large part through conversations. So, providing people with the information that they need to fully understand the change and what's required of them, as well as how that change will personally impact them, will go a long way in terms of having people commit to the idea of the change. If people have committed to the change before the change is actually rolled out, they're going to be a lot more likely to actually comply with it and avoid procrastination. A fourth strategy you can use is within default settings. So a lot of organizations have a program or initiative that allow employees to opt in, and that's awesome. But why not try it the other way around? Why not automatically enroll people into the program or initiative and give them the option to easily opt out if they'd like to do that? Studies have actually shown that a lot more people will stay opted in because it doesn't take the time or effort needed to actually choose that initiative. Whatever techniques you choose to nudge change along, remember that they should always be human centered and voluntary. The more you can do with people as opposed to them, the higher level of success you're going to have. Engage your team, and they're going to be a lot more likely to go along with the change initiative.